The lost weekend routine of the 1970s. Saturday morning. 1970s. Britain. The sun is barely up. The birds are singing. And somewhere on a quiet suburban street, a man in a flat cap and a slightly too tight cardigan is already outside with a bucket of soapy water and the most important sense of purpose he has felt all week. That man is your dad.
Are you?
And he has a plan for this weekend. A very specific, completely unwritten, absolutely non-negotiable plan that every single dad in Britain was somehow following simultaneously without anyone ever organizing it. I'm Reto, and today we are walking through the lost weekend routine of the 1970s, a sacred schedule that shaped an entire generation and disappeared so quietly that most people didn't even notice it was gone until they tried to find it again. Number 1. Saturday morning, the car wash ritual. It started with the car. It always started with the car. At approximately 8:30 on a Saturday morning, the 1970s, Dad would emerge from the house, carrying a bucket, a sponge, and a chamois leather that he treated with more care than most people treat their firstborn children. He would fill the bucket with warm, soapy water. He would walk to the car, and he would begin. This was not simply cleaning a car. This was a performance. The neighbors could see. The neighbors were watching. And if your car was not gleaming by 10 o'clock on a Saturday morning, it said something about you as a person and as a man.
What?
And frankly, as a member of this street. Children were recruited to help, not asked, recruited. There was no option to decline. You dried the wheels with an old towel that had been specifically demoted from bathroom duty for this purpose. You did this without complaint. And when it was done, your dad would stand back, squint at the car from 3 different angles, find one streak on the rear window that you had missed, and point at it without saying a word. You went back. You got the streak. He nodded. The ritual was complete.
Here I come.
Number 2, mid-morning, the newspaper. By 10:30, the car was done, and your dad was in his chair. Not a chair, his chair. There was an important distinction that every child in Britain understood instinctively. You did not sit in his chair. You did not put your bag on his chair. You did not even look at his chair for too long, in case he somehow sensed it from the kitchen. The chair was a large, slightly worn armchair positioned at the perfect angle to see the television while also being able to see the garden through the window. It had a permanent impression in it that was the exact shape of your dad. Nobody else fit in it correctly. It was not designed for anyone else. In this chair, with a cup of tea that was strong enough to strip paint, your dad would read the newspaper, the entire newspaper, in order. Starting with the front page and ending with the sports section, which he saved for last, like a dessert. He read it slowly and thoroughly. He occasionally made sounds of disapproval at things on the inside pages. He read things out loud to no one in particular. And when he was finished, he folded it back exactly as it came and placed it on the side table where it would remain untouched until he looked at it again that evening, just to make sure nothing had changed. Number 3, late morning, the DIY project. After the newspaper came the project. Every 1970s dad had a project. Sometimes it was a specific thing that needed fixing. A dripping tap, a squeaky door, a fence panel that had been loose since approximately 1967 and was going to be sorted this weekend. Definitely this weekend. No, he didn't get to it last weekend, but this weekend was different. The tools came out of a metal toolbox that was older than most of the furniture in the house. WD-40 was involved. Duct tape was on standby. And your dad would crouch in front of whatever the project was, with the focused expression of a surgeon about to perform a very important operation on a fence panel. Calling a professional was not an option. Calling a professional cost money. Calling a professional also implied that you could not do the thing yourself. And in 1970s, Britain, that was not something a man was prepared to admit in front of his neighbors, his wife, his children, or frankly, anyone within reasonable earshot. The repair was completed with confidence. Whether it actually fixed the problem was a secondary concern. The important thing was that something had been done to it. And if it broke again next month, that was simply the nature of the thing, and not a reflection of the repair. Number 4, lunchtime, the proper lunch. Lunch in the 1970s was not a snack. It was not something you grabbed from the fridge while standing up and looking at your phone. It was a meal, at the table, at a specific time. In Britain, this often meant sandwiches made from whatever bread was in the house with whatever filling was available, but it was made properly, presented properly, and eaten at the table with everyone present. The radio might be on. The television was not. Lunch was not a television meal. Lunch was a table meal, and the distinction mattered. Everyone ate what was put in front of them. There were no alternative options available if you did not like what was served. If you did not like it, you were welcome to not like it quietly and eat it anyway. This policy was applied consistently and without negotiation. Number 5, Saturday afternoon. The match. Saturday afternoon in the 1970s meant one thing in most British households: football. Specifically, it meant the football results on the radio, followed by the football results on the television, followed by your dad telling you who had won, followed by your dad explaining at length why the result was either exactly what he expected or a complete outrage depending on how his team had done. If his team had won, he was generous and cheerful for the rest of the evening. If his team had lost, he was quiet in a specific way that the entire family recognized and responded to by also being quiet. The television stayed on the sport. Nobody changed the channel. Nobody suggested anything else. You waited for the mood to lift, which it usually did by Sunday morning, in time for the next part of the routine. Number 6, Sunday morning, the roast. Sunday had a smell. If you grew up in Britain in the 1970s, you know exactly what that smell was. It was a roast dinner being prepared from approximately 10 o'clock in the morning for a meal that would be eaten at 1 in the afternoon. The oven was on early. The whole house warmed up, and the smell of roasting meat and potatoes worked its way into every room in a way that no scented candle has ever replicated and no delivery service has ever come close to. The Sunday roast was not optional. It was not a treat. It was the structure around which Sunday was organized. Everything else happened in relation to the roast. You went to church before it. You visited grandparents after it. You watched television in a slightly stunned state of fullness for the remainder of the afternoon, while your dad went back to his chair and fell asleep with the newspaper on his chest, within 11 minutes of finishing his plate. This was the 1970s Sunday. Predictable, reliable, the same every week. And at the time, nobody thought it was special, because it was just what Sunday was. And that was the lost weekend routine of the 1970s. No plans made in advance. No brunch reservations. No scrolling through options on an app trying to decide what to do. Just a bucket, a sponge, a chair that nobody else was allowed to sit in, and a roast dinner that you could smell from the end of the street. It was not glamorous. It was not exciting. And almost everyone who grew up with it would give quite a lot to have one more Saturday morning watching their dad find that one streak on the rear window and pointing at it without saying a word. Do you remember this routine? Tell us in the comments below. And share this with someone who grew up in a house that had a chair like that. Like, share, and subscribe so you never miss a rewind. I'm Reto, and this has been your Rewind.